November is not only a big month for AAA releases, but there are plenty of interesting indie titles coming your way this month too. With some holiday breaks coming up soon, let's take a look at 10 games that will help you pass the time, from a retro-style FPS, to a hand-drawn metroidvania, to a zoo sim that will leave you asking, am I a good person? Let's get right into it. If you enjoy finding new indie games, click the like button and consider subscribing to see more of my videos. Both things help the channel grow and help other indie game fans like you find us too, so thanks. I stream twice a week, Thursday and Saturday at noon Eastern Time, here on YouTube and on Twitch and Facebook Gaming, so join us. I'll be doing a couple live giveaways this week too. Without further ado, here's the top indie games of November. Let's start with a game that many of us have been looking forward to for a long time. Tunche is finally here on November 2nd. It's a hand-drawn beat-em-up set in the Amazon rainforest where the creatures have gone a bit haywire, with 5 playable characters at your disposal, including Hat Kid from A Hat in Time, and up to 4-player local co-op. It's your mission to restore peace to the troubled land. The animation to me is one of the biggest selling points, kind of looking like an old Disney movie. Maybe it's the backgrounds, maybe it's the adorable kids, but I just kept getting Lion King or The Jungle Book vibes. There are some roguelike elements at play too, with the map and enemies changing every time you start over. I know this is already on many wish lists, but if you haven't seen this yet, click the link in the description below to wishlist on Steam, or buy it on November 2nd when it comes to PC and all consoles. Onto another game that looked inspired by a movie, and this time a little more blatantly, with the name of the movie acting as the title. Pinchcliffe Grand Prix looks just as delightful as the movie it's based on. Obviously, with a name like that, there is some high-octane, or maybe low-octane, racing to be found here. The vehicles you race look like something pulled from a boxcar derby, and are creative to say the least. Building up to the races and crafting the ultimate racing machine, you can partake in the many mini-games, with some collectathons, classic watch the ball, and others, and everything is tied neatly together with a pleasant story. Whether you enjoyed the movie or you're like me and are just blown away by the lovely aesthetic and hilarious vehicles, this should be enjoyable for adults and children alike. It also has local multiplayer so everyone can get in on the action. Pinchcliffe Grand Prix is coming to PC and Switch on November 4th. Our next game is certainly retro, but not nearly as cute and cuddly as Pinchcliffe. ARKOS kind of looks like speedrunning Minecraft that was built on a Windows 95 machine. I got some comments in my video earlier this week that several of you love the voxel art of Moonglow Bay, and ARKOS makes things even chunkier. That sounds like kind of a gross selling point, but I'm sticking to it. You might not be able to build a mansion just for your chickens here, but you can destroy just about everything you see. Not only the enemies you'll find, but the environments too. Your name is ARKOS, and you're a wizard in search of a powerful weapon that your missing teacher told you of. There are other weapons that you'll find along the way to slay with, and 5 bosses to fight through. For a retro FPS, I'm really digging the splashes of color thrown in, and the tight environments that make me feel a bit claustrophobic. If you like pretending you're a wizard, come on, don't deny it, then check out ARKOS, coming to PC via Steam on November 3rd. If the first 3 games have shown us anything, it's that most of the games coming this month are early on, likely due to all the AAA releases shortly before holiday shopping ramps up, but of the few indies found later in the month, UnDungeon looks particularly interesting. Boasting rich pixel art somewhat akin to Hyper Light Drifter, this action RPG has some serious sci-fi themes. You're a herald traveling between dimensions, trying to hold the world together, and the way you interact with the world and its citizens will change the course of the future, for better or for worse. Those who have been around here for a while know I love RPGs and character building, and in UnDungeon you craft your characters by implanting organs, which offer different benefits, like your digestive system, which likely gives you intestinal fortitude, and the main gland, which I don't know what that does, but my interest is certainly aroused. There's a huge open world to discover too, along with way more that I don't have time to talk about. I think many of you will enjoy this one too, so click the link in the description below to learn more about UnDungeon, coming to PC and Xbox including Game Pass on November 16th. Another game coming on the same day, and one that is flying a bit under the radar, Marsupilami Hoobadventure is a colorful little platformer and collectathon coming to PC and all consoles. This may be kind of a light platformer, with 3 worlds offering up around 20 or so levels, but there are more to be unlocked through different achievements. If I had to guess, that might have something to do with the collectathon elements you can see in the trailer. This reminds me of the platformers of old, Donkey Kong and Sonic to name a few big ones, and while Marsupilami is a much smaller game in terms of length and development size, it sure looks like a delightful one. Again, you can pick this up on November 16th. Transitioning from 2D platforming to 3D, or some interdimensional plane in between the two, we have Demon Turf, a game which has been burning up Twitter lately, at least the crowd that I follow. As the protagonist Beebs, you'll platform and fight your way through the dark and disturbing demon world and attempt to establish your dominion as the Demon Queen. But this isn't just a standard progression loop, as you'll be able to re-explore previously liberated areas to see how they've changed, and possibly find some new places and faces there too. There's also a hub world with side quests to explore, and I'm expecting a platformer with an actually good story, which is rare in my opinion. The mix of art styles with 2D characters in a 3D world will probably draw a lot of comparisons to Paper Mario, but I think this looks better. Come at me, Nintendo fans. Nintendites? What do you guys even call yourselves? Nintendonians? I'm getting sidetracked. Demon Turf, November 4th, being released for all consoles and PC via Steam, Epic Games Store, and GOG. If you're in your 30s like me and grew up building houses and towers out of playing cards, then Where Cards Fall will feel quite familiar for you too, I imagine. In this thoughtful puzzle platformer, you'll build houses, pathways, and much more with cards as you navigate the memories of the protagonist's history. With over 50 puzzles to solve, each one will reveal a bit about our character's past, and I'll admit, I have such a soft spot for coming-of-age stories and narratives like this one which are told without words, only through imagery and music, so this one is high on my list of games to play this month. The sleek and modern art style showcased in the trailer grabbed me right away too. I know puzzle platformers aren't for everyone, but if you do enjoy them, you'll surely not want to miss this one. Where Cards Fall is coming on November 4th to PC and Nintendo Switch. On to my top 3 for the month. Treasures of the Aegean has quite an interesting look to it. Its art style looks like a mix between a comic book and Adventure Time, or even Minute of Islands, which we saw earlier this year. Treasures of the Aegean is a fast-paced parkour metroidvania where you play as the dynamic duo of free-running master Marie and treasure-hunting extraordinaire James. Together, they're trying to piece together the history of the Minoan civilization, which has been stuck in a time loop. Personally, there's just something about time loop games and movies which keep me coming back for more. This one looks just brilliant artistically, and I'm hoping the gameplay and story can live up to the high bar that the art has set. This one is being developed by Undercoders, who also did some work with Mailmole earlier this year. Treasures of the Aegean will be available November 11th for PC and all consoles. I told you I'm a sucker for coming-of-age stories, especially those told without words, and this month we're fortunate enough to have 2 promising ones on the calendar. Unpacking first caught my attention during a Steam Next Fest where I spent about 30 minutes playing through the demo, and ever since then I have been eagerly awaiting the release date, which is now upon us on November 2nd. In Unpacking, there's no visible protagonist, no story directly told, but you as the player are allowed to intuit the story through unpacking moving boxes at new locations throughout our unseen protagonist's life. I can't say I've ever seen a game quite like this, and as someone who moved from my hometown when I was 16, the demo alone packed quite a punch of emotions for me and triggered a lot of memories. The light acoustic soundtrack is wonderful as well and puts you in quite a relaxing mood, contrary to how moving and unpacking actually goes. You can play Unpacking starting November 2nd on PC, Mac, Linux, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One. And finally, at number 1, a game I've been dreaming about for years, even before it was announced, and eagerly awaiting since playing the beta this summer, Let's Build a Zoo is launching on November 5th. For a bit of context, when I was a kid playing Zoo Tycoon and watching Spy Kids 2, I wrote an email to the developers of Zoo Tycoon and told them how cool I thought it would be if they added cross-species breeding, and in response, I got a rather cold email that basically said, "We can't take ideas from fans due to liability reasons. Screw off." Fast forward to now, and my dreams have finally been fulfilled thanks to the developer Spring-Loaded and publisher No More Robots, and you too can crossbreed whatever you please. From a rabbit-hippo combo that should be named a Rippo, but isn't, to a self-imagined combination of an ass-whooping crane. I've said very little about the game, but it has perfect pixel art, adorable animals and toys, including trampolines to keep them occupied. There's an in-depth tech and breeding tree to unlock, along with a morality scale that wasn't available in the beta, so I'm keen to learn more very soon. This one will probably consume weeks, if not months of my time over the next couple years, and you can start enjoying Let's Build a Zoo with me on November 5th on PC via Steam. Pinchcliffe, I can't freaking say it.